that song, which was actually taken from Wild Weekend, was a '8 national hit in '63, and he was voted the #1 DJ in America in '68. That's how.
#1 in America?
In America, in '68.
I didn't know that.
And KB was the real deal. Tommy, are you there?
I am. My goodness, I thought you were talking about Short Sleeve Hansen.
No. Short. No, those guys are going to be in later. The CMW guys, Championship Midget Wrestling. These guys are nuts. They're going to be in studio with us at the bottom half of the hour.
Oh my goodness! Holy smokes! Well, don't tell them my name then.
I won't. A couple friends of yours are here right now. Lee and David are in studio with us.
Hey, Tom, how are you, my man?
Hi, Lee. Hi, David. Boy, I tell you what, I grew up with. Well, certainly Lee was one of my mentors and my official, what would you call it, a photographer. Back in the early days, I would call it more than that. But David, I've known since he's a little boy.
Hi, Tommy. How you doing?
David was talking.
Fine, Dave. I got a picture of you at about, I don't know, 7, 8 years old.
Yeah. Oh.
I'm sure you don't want me to show it. I mean, I can't. This isn't television, but
Yeah.
That's all right. If
we got a website, we can post it up there.
Yeah, email it to us.
it
We'll
to
put it on
us.
the website, Tom.
what did I do? I let myself in for that one.
Hey, Tommy, he's got that picture on the refrigerator.
I hear you say that the theme song on radio came from Wild Weekend, the hit record later on. It's the other way around. The record came thanks to the Buffalo Rebels. Jimmy and Mick Kepler. You probably know the names. You probably know the guys. Jim and Mick Kepler and Paul Balin and Tommy Gorman were the original kids who came up to me at a record hop and said, "We love your theme. Can we play it?" And I said, "It's got words. You're going to sing it?" And they said, "No, we're going to do it instrumentally." So really and truly, they were the guys that I think had basically the arrangement for the hit record, which is really true. I mean, it's same melody, but it was a little bit of their arrangement.
Oh, so your theme song came first?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought it was the other way around.
And if you don't mind me doing this, I'm not trying to take
Not at all.
time or your time, but I always like to straighten that out because people have run across me in different places and will say, "Hey, I love this," and they'll get something out of whack with it, and I'll say, "Wait a minute, that, if you read things on the internet sometimes, that also throws everybody off, because while the internet is a great source, it also is a very erroneous source for a lot of things."
That's true.
So anyway, what happened was that song was put together with Phil Tadaro and myself. It was sung by a group out of Binghamton, New York, Russ Hallett in the trio, and they were in studio auditioning for other things, and I was just starting. As you mentioned, I was a newsman primarily, part-time. A program director said, "We're starting something new, and we want you to be a disc jockey." And I went, "Oh, my God, thank you," because I was never going to make it as Peter Jennings or anybody. So I said, "Oh, and I love music," so that went along right with it. And I said, "Well, can I have a theme song like you're giving Russ Syracuse and Dick Biondi?" And they said, "No, that's too much money. We got to get Pam's to cost $5,000. You can't do that." I said, "I can't?" Oh. He said, "Well, make one up, or what was the other, or pick out an instrumental or something that you can use." So I originally started out truly with a song that was kind of scat singing by a girl named Gloria Wood, I think it was, Wood, and it was called Teen Time. And it seemed to work. In the meantime, my partner, who was a little older than I was, who was a great mentor, Lee knows him, so does David, Phil Tadaro, he's no longer alive. He said, "Why don't we make one up? A little kind of," I said, "Oh, yeah, right. George and I were Gershwin. We aren't." So we made this little thing up, Top Tunes, News, and Weather. So glad we can get together, and it was refined by the kids who were in the studio, which was Russ Hallett and the trio. So that's basically it. I mean, everything was forgotten except that people used to write to me and say, "We love that theme. Can you do something with it? Can we buy the little tape?" And I thought, my God, it's only a little ditty. I mean, but there was something to it. So
absolutely. I mean, you're talking about a national #1 or #8 top 10 hit in '63. So there was definitely the recipe was there.
As soon as we put it on, David Lee started bobbing his head.
Call it, guys. And if you listen to John Fogerty of on his own, but CCR originally. But when John Fogerty did the Center Field album, one of his cuts was called Rock and Roll Girls. It did very, very well. I think that was a #1 hit. He pays a very nice tribute to Wild Weekend, sitting by the lake listening to the radio, and it's the same basic chords and everything else, he works it in. I was almost tempted to try to sue him, but I thought, no, that was just a night tribute. But I don't know if you remember that song. It dates it a little bit.
Oh, no, I remember the song. I remember the song totally. So Tom, what was Buffalo radio like then? I mean, KB was already it was starting to be this big player, and everything was new. I mean, it had to be. You guys were all in uncharted territory, so you were making the history that would then become really FM. Really, what was it like?
Absolutely, yeah. Well, if you want to know what it was like, if I can only tell you, once it got started in KB with 50,000 watts, in those days, those were the dominant signals that went certainly nighttime carrier power. As you know, with WKBW today, I assume, unless they've shut the power down, it went all over the place. I mean, they could get you in the Azores, they could get you at night, of course, because the carrier power and the skip jump and all of that. But you would hear from everybody. But forgetting even the rest of the country, just taking Western New York and the dominant area, our main coverage, we were so far ahead of everybody else doing things, and you just couldn't believe how everybody glommed onto it. It started with the young people, of course. They were the ones that really headed it up, and then all of a sudden, older people would come up to you and they'd say, "Are you on the radio?" And I know you find this hard to believe, but you were as big almost as the artist. In other words, in those days, the names of Frankie Avalon or Fabian or some of the, quote, teenage idols, you would bring them to town and you would get as much attention, or at least I did. I don't know why that was, but you would get as much attention as some of those guys, so you thought, my God, I'm never going to leave this business if I can help it.
Well, and it was a different time. I mean, you were bringing it was uncharted territory, and
that's true. Yeah, absolutely.
You read the history of this stuff, and you hear about disc jockeys that were as popular as artists. I mean, you were the voices that brought the songs to people.